So today we'll be talking about statistical packages. Now, statistical packages are essentially softwares. Okay, they are softwares that are used by statisticians to do or to perform data analysis, to analyze data, to analyze large chunks of data. Let's suppose there is a study trying to find out some particular phenomenon. Let's suppose they are trying to find out the effects of uh, one particular drug on hyperglycemia. Okay, let's suppose there is one particular drug named X, and they are trying to find out. Let's suppose this drug is an oral hypoglycemic agent, OH है ये, ठीक है? It will decrease blood sugar. That is my claim as a scientist. ठीक है? So to test that, what I'm doing is I am performing a study, and that study, let's suppose, includes 10,000 individuals. ठीक है, 10,000 पीपल. अब उतने लोगों का डेटा अगर मेरे को एनालाइज करना है एंड कंपाइल करना है टू फाइंड इट आउट, इट विल बी वेरी हार्ड टू डू इट manually, to manually perform all the calculations, to get all the observations. There can be a lot of errors made just in the collection of data and just in the what you call assimilation of the data. In that sense, these statistical packages will be very handy. As soon as you enter the values in it and you run the formula, you will be able to get the conclusion using the software. Okay, you will have several softwares. Those softwares are called statistical packages. Some of them are free, some of them are proprietary. Proprietary का मतलब you will have to buy the software, something like Microsoft Office. ठीक है, you have to buy that Microsoft Office before you can use it, right? Before you can officially use it. Now, as such, these statistical packages can also help non-statisticians, people who are not statisticians, to conduct their own data analysis and to what you call perform a study, because these what you call softwares are relatively easy to use. You will also get training as well. In some of these softwares, you will get jobs and training in specific softwares, but they are fairly easy to use. They're not exactly hard. Okay. As I said, they are a collection of software designs. They are a package, what do you call, collection of software packages, okay, designed to aid statistical analysis and data explorations. Now, few examples for these statistical packages. So as I told you, there are two different types. Okay, you will have hundreds of statistical softwares and statistical packages. So the proprietary ones, or the ones that you need to buy, proprietary. Okay, this will include SAS. Okay, SAS is one of the most common, and it is called the king of statistical packages. Okay, this is used a lot and is very, very applicable and very practical in a way. Used in a lot of industries. You have SAS, Minitab. Okay, there is SPSS. SPSS is also used a lot, and Excel, Microsoft Excel. Okay, all of these are statistical packages which will help you compile data. Then we have free packages. So free softwares, these will include R. R itself is a name. Then there is PSPP. There is what do you call, Applinfo. Then there is LibreOffice Calc, LibreOffice Calculator. Okay. All of these are examples of softwares that you can download for free, and you can use them to perform statistical analysis. If you have done a study and you want to perform, let's suppose if you want to perform t-test for 10,000 people, or if you want to perform any parametric or non-parametric tests, वहाँ पर ये बहुत काम आते, any of these softwares. Now the application of these softwares is that they will help in decision making. Okay, you will be able to find out trends, and you'll be able to see how data can be compiled, and you can see the conclusion of data. Now अब मेरे पास 10,000 patients है. For that, in the same example, previous example, I'm using one X drug, and I'm subjecting 10,000 patients who are hyperglycemic or diabetic to this X drug, and I'm seeing the effect of X drug. How many adverse effects are occurring, how many side effects are occurring, how many people are dying because of the drug, how many people have no effect because of the drug, how many people are getting treated because of the drug, how many people can be what they call develop resistance to the drug, कितने की parameters create कर सकता हूँ मैं, to analyze that and to make a certain decision. Okay, this drug might be better suited to this particular population, or okay, this drug might be better suited at this stage of, or this stage, this complication of diabetes. I'm only giving an example. Okay, वो decision लेने में this vertical statistical softwares will be very helpful, because it will help you summarize the data. It will also help you vertical present large amount of data in shorter forms, in the sense that it will give you data in the form of graphs, or it can give you data in the forms of tables, pie charts, summarizing the data. Okay. Now it will also, because of this, it will also help in comparison. You can compare two different drugs. See, if you are compiling the data in such a way that it is coming down to a graph, let's suppose a drug ka effect is showing like this. Okay, some graph. Okay, over time the efficacy of the drug is like this, or the use of the drug is like this. If I compare this with, let's suppose, another drug, let's suppose that drug ka chart aisa hai. If I combine both of these, I will basically get a chart like this, a graph like this, right? So from this I can compare both of them, how it is, which is more stable, which is showing growth and things like that. I can plan according to that. Okay. As such, statistical packages are used in several industries. You can use them in almost all the industries on the world. Statistical packages are used. You use them in agriculture, food science, biology, healthcare, textiles, engineering, urban planning, sociology. There are countless others. Okay, where statistical packages are very, very helpful. So I hope you understood what statistical packages are. Do you want me to repeat anything, or do you, any doubt that you have in particular? Um, any particular topic of this? No? Okay. So with this statistical packages being completed, we have completed the statistics part of your syllabus. Okay. The 7th unit, so and so to speak. Now coming to the next chapter, communication and utilization of research, how you can apply research. Okay, we'll discuss that. So your portion should be over within this week, hopefully. Everything goes smoothly, it should be over in this week. So in any case, coming to the first topic in that chapter, the chapter is communication and utilization of research, how you communicate research and how you use research, interpret it, and how you present it. The first topic will be verbal report. Verbal report, yeah, oral report is basically orally presenting your research, or orally presenting any document or any research for that matter. Okay, think of it like a presentation. Okay, oral presentation है वो basically, wherein you are either speaking about a research that you yourself have performed, or you are speaking about a research that has been performed and you are presenting it by some other author, and you are presenting it as a project or whatever it is. Okay. This will involve presenting one's work, as I told you, to a jury, or you can perform, you can present it to an audience in, let's suppose, in a seminar or in a workshop, or you can even present it to a evaluator. So in an exam, basically, take an invigilator or an evaluator. Viva is, so to speak, a verbal report, kind of a verbal report. ठीक है, आप लोगों को फोर्थ ईयर में पैकेज है ना, ये वो पैकेज बोल रहा हूँ, दिस थिंग प्रोजेक्ट है ना, that will involve a verbal report. In the end, you will have to give a presentation and all. I'm not sure how nursing goes, but I'm pretty sure at the end of your project, you will have to present your research, and you will have to state your findings. What did you find? What is, how is it applicable? Okay, one of the biggest questions that you get in exam is how the research that you have performed is applicable in the real world. Okay, how other people can benefit from that particular research. Research is not just meant to be for the sake of a paper or for the sake of just doing it. It should be applicable. Okay, without it, it is useless. Now, the importance of verbal report is that it will save a lot of time. So I'll just write the importance or important points. Importance of verbal report. It will save time and energy both, obviously. Saves time and research. इसका मतलब क्या है? For example, me, instead of what do you call, reading 10, 20 different papers on a certain topic, I can simply listen to an oral presentation. Now, for example, any video that you see online on YouTube, any tutorial or any educational video that you see, for example, let's suppose you're seeing the pathophysiology of atherosclerosis. Okay, example. Now, in that, the person has obviously gone through a lot of source material. They might have studied textbooks, they might have seen papers, they might have seen other videos themselves, they might have used uh, pre- presentations, things like that for source material, and they are orally presenting it. Sometimes they even draw and show you on a particular board, they write it down and show you what is going on. So that is a kind of oral presentation that is basically helping you understand, or it is summarizing data and giving it to you very concisely. That is why it is saving a lot of time and research. Okay, instead of you just keep on reading online or reading in a book or things like that, it will save a lot of time. It will also help in assessing the knowledge, skill, and experience of the speaker. Okay, uh, helps in assessing or evaluating the knowledge, skill, and experience of the orator or speaker. Let's say speaker. कभी कभी presenter भी बोलते हैं इसको. So that is the second advantage. ठीक है, especially if you are an audience or if you're a jury or if you're an evaluator, you'll be able to sense how well that student is speaking, what is the level of their knowledge with respect to that topic, and sometimes in general related to that subject. Okay, because they'll be able to link several topics. Now, whenever you present a verbal report, let's suppose you are presenting on any particular disease. For example, you have done a project in fourth year regarding PCOS. I'm giving an example. Okay, now PCOS से अगर आप project करें तो they will ask you right from the anatomy of they can ask you anything related to PCOS, literally from the anatomy of your reproductive system to hormonal changes that occur in PCOS. They can ask you what is the treatment of PCOS. They'll ask you everything, each and everything related to PCOS. So it will link a lot of subjects, the surrounding material as well. Okay, that is how the evaluator will be able to assess how well the person is able to link knowledge together. Okay, be ready whenever you give a presentation. Whatever you put in front of them, they can ask questions regarding it. Okay, any piece of paper that you put in front of them, any word from it can be asked, or anything related to that word can be asked. Okay, then other than that, because of oral presentations, sometimes if it is a, let's suppose a presentation where you are trying to learn. Okay, sometimes what happens is, even in a seminar or in a workshop, let's suppose even if it is a presentation competition kind of thing. Okay, when the presenter is presenting their particular data, if it is a study or if it is someone else's study that you are presenting, the evaluator or the judge or the audience, any one of them, might give their own inputs or they might give their own insights that will lead to a new direction. Okay, let's suppose you are going with a certain ideology about one particular condition, and you have done research in one particular condition in one particular way. Okay, the judge or the examiner might be able to see it from a third person perspective and give you some other way through which you can think of it like this also, in that kind of way. Okay, it'll basically open up new avenues for you. All right, so the presenter may get inputs or insights while presenting the data to the evaluator. Okay, and obviously generally people who are judging, they have much more experience in certain fields, so they might be able to give you a better picture of how things can be done in a much more detail oriented way, or maybe in an easier way as such. Okay, giving you no perspective. Now, the duration of the report that you give, it should be very important, because you cannot keep on rambling at all continuously for an hour or two. Okay, you need to keep it very precise, and the duration of your report will show the time management skills of that particular presenter. Okay, if you are concentrating only on that point and you keep on rambling on that point for a long period of time, generally what happens is the audience will get bored, or let's suppose you are giving a very intensive approach, in the sense that, let's suppose your report is very detail oriented, a lot of facts are being thrown towards the audience. Generally those facts will bore the audience, okay? That will basically, what happens is the attention of the audience is gone at that point of time. The presenter should keep in mind that the report that you are giving should be of the same standard as the audience as well, okay? If depending on whether you are giving it to your own peers or you are giving it to some evaluator who has much more experience than you have to match their standard and give a report based on their standard, okay? At least somewhere close. You also have to think of a few questions. One question is that, a very important question that you have to think about is that, why should the audience listen to my report, okay? They should be able to gain something from the report. Are they gaining anything from the report, okay? How am I able to contribute to the society, or how am I able to contribute to the knowledge of the person in front of me by giving my report, okay? As soon as you start asking that question, will I be interested in listening to my own report? That is also one important question. Even if you, let's suppose, whenever you are preparing to give a verbal report, I would strongly suggest that you record yourself, okay? Before, when you're preparing and all, any viva or something like that, uh, make some questions up and try to record yourself, okay? Once you record, you'll be able to see what is the tone of your voice, you'll be able to see how well you are explaining a particular topic, where you go slow down, where you need to concentrate, things like that. Is that information that you are giving, now you will speak for, let's suppose, 10 minutes. As such, एक presentation जो रहता, normally in a seminar or workshop ले लो, oral presentation रहा तो it will be divided into 10 plus 2 minutes. So 10 minutes of presentation plus 2 minutes of questioning. Now, for you to engage that audience or you to engage that jury for 10 minutes, you have to make sure that you're not lagging in any particular area. You're not stuck in one particular area for a very long period of time. You are re-explaining the same area again and again. You basically have to make sure that you are making it very efficient. Okay? Giving the complete information concisely and to the point. Now, whenever you plan for a report, so that is report planning, you have to keep a few things in mind. The first thing is content. Okay? As the saying goes, content is king. In the sense that if your report is very intensive in details, but you do not know how to present that, in the sense that you're just merely stating facts, let's suppose you're not giving any key points, you're not giving any illustrations, diagrams or something like that, or you're not giving any examples, generally what will happen is, or you're not engaging the audience will lose their interest in your report, okay? They will generally tend to what you call deviate from the report, and their attention will deviate specifically. So you have to make sure that your content is very well suited for the audience, and you have to make sure your content is very practical and concise, only to the point, not giving unnecessary information. Then structure. Now structure mane, you have to make sure that the report that you are giving has an introduction, it has a body, and it has a conclusion. It should not be jumbled up. It should not be like you're giving an intro and going to the conclusion, then coming back to the body. Then you should not give conclusions twice, okay? Let's suppose you forget something in between, you give a conclusion already, then go back to the body and give another conclusion. वैसा नहीं हो रहा. You have to properly plan what you're about to tell, and you have to make sure that there is clear distinguishing, there is a clear what do you call, distinction between what you are going to introduce with, what you are going to tell about that topic, and how you are going to conclude that topic, okay? Now, as such, your introduction should be very attractive, in the sense that you can begin with a question, or you can start with a small story related to the topic, or you can give some interesting facts about the topic, or you can give a quote sometimes related to the topic, anything to captivate the attention of the audience or the evaluator. Then the body, that should contain essential information in logical order, okay? It should only contain essential information, not everything under the sun related to the topic, only points which are important. And please bear in mind, especially in case of presentations I've seen a lot, generally what people tend to do is, especially those who are not prepared, what they do is they will simply turn to the presentation and they'll start reading off the presentation. That is not how you are supposed to give a presentation. And especially अगर आप PPT बना रहे तो PPT should not be detail intensive. मतलब it should not have the same amount of content as your textbook. अगर उतना ही information होना था तो they would have read the textbook itself. A presentation highly relies on you presenting it. ठीक है, it relies on what knowledge you bring to the table rather than what you can show on a PPT or what you can show on a slide. Even if there are 3 words present on a slide, let's suppose you will see presentations where there will be single slides with only one particular diagram. Okay, I'm randomly drawing something. Let's suppose this diagram is there. Now the presenter can talk about that particular diagram for 15 minutes. Anything related to the diagram, or you get the point. Let's suppose they are just mentioning 2 or 3 sentences and they are further expanding on those sentences, how the application of that particular sentence and the content of the sentence goes, what does the sentence means and things like that. Okay, rather than writing everything that is present in the textbook or the source material that you find, you have to make sure that you understand that and you present it. See, verbal reports are something like storytelling. The more interesting you make, the more concise you make, rather than by leaving all the unnecessary things and focusing only on the important stuff, that is when generally the presentation will be good. Okay, another thing is that conclusions. Now whenever you are giving conclusions, you have to make sure that you cover each and every topic that you have introduced or you have told in the body, but in a very concise manner. Okay, you have to summarize the data very well while covering everything that you have told. And what you call, you have to take in account the opinion of the presenter as well. Sometimes in between they will give you certain opinions and insights. You have to consider that as well. Okay, you might want to delegate that, in the sense that you might want to include it in such a way that we can apply what you told like this and things like that. Questions might be asked at the end of the presentation, so you have to keep that in mind. Okay, so the last part will be questions. Questions generally will be asked to you by the what you call jury or the audience, and you have to be pretty sure about your own content before you can answer any questions relating to the what you call related to the topic. Now you can also ask questions in between the presentation. Okay, let's suppose you are dealing with a huge audience. Let's suppose you're teaching a class. In that case, you can ask questions just for engagement. Okay, there are several ways. So that is one way. Now, while delivering the report, you have to keep in mind a few factors. Report delivery. Okay. Uh, Before delivering or during delivery of the report, this will specifically depend on, first of all, voice quality and volume. Especially if you are talking to a large audience, you have to make sure that the what you call volume of the mic is very well adjusted, so that you're not screaming all the time and you're not straining your voice. You should be at a very comfortable talking voice, and you have to make sure that the microphone is good enough. You have to make sure that the message is being sent properly. You have to make sure that the tone is good. Okay, your tone is also related to the confidence, how well you are talking about that particular topic, how confident you are about that particular topic. Are you very aggressive in your tone, or are you very passive in your tone? Are you very confident in your tone? That also makes a difference while delivering a report. Speed and fluency. Now, as I told you, if you keep lingering around one particular topic for a long period of time, generally the audience will lose their interest. And if you stutter in between, generally speaking, what will happen is it will indicate that the presenter is unsure. Okay, I'm not telling lisp. Okay, stuttering and lisp are fine if it is a innate problem. That is fine. But let's suppose you are getting stuck with things like, what do you call? How should I put it? Let's suppose, see, this pause, this is basically a lack of fluency. Okay, if you are getting what do you call, if you're pausing in between, if you're not fluent enough, okay, it's abruptly stopping as such, that is a problem. Okay, that basically indicates that you are not exactly sure about the topic and things like that. Suddenly out of nowhere you stop, things like that. Okay, then clarity, how clearly you're talking will be very important. If you're not able to enunciate and pronounce the information that you are giving out, or in any language that you speak, if you're not able to clearly speak, it can be a big problem. You'll not be able to deliver the information that you want to. Then there is engagement of the audience. You have to make sure that the audience is at all times looking at you and they are listening to you with rapt attention. You also have to make sure that your eye contact is on point. You should not be glaring at anyone, you should not be staring at anyone, neither should you be looking down on the floor. Okay, you should not look here and there. You should be looking towards the audience, but not, let's suppose you are addressing to an audience of 30-40 people. You should not be staring in only one direction, or you should not be staring at one particular person, or you should not be, you know, if you are giving a presentation, you should not turn around and read from the presentation. That is also very bad. Okay, you have to look them in the eye, and you have to engage everyone. Okay, so that will basically show that your report delivery skills are good, or at least presentable as such. Now, sometimes you can speak with notes. You can use flashcards. You get small flashcards, or you can use note cards. Sometimes you can read from a script. Okay, some people read a speech out of a script. You can also speak without notes. Speaking without notes generally indicates that you have a better understanding and you are prepared much more better than a person who is using a script. Okay, you can use presentations. They can be very good in case of visual aid, but please make sure that you're not simply reading from a presentation, and you're actually presenting the information. Because especially when we talk about presentations, make sure that what you are telling is more than what you are showing. Okay, what you show on a particular slide is much less compared to what you are orally talking about that topic. Okay, related to the topic, not rambling here and there, but related to the topic, giving essential information, rather than putting everything on the slide and hoping that the person will read it. Okay, so that is about verbal report. We'll continue with how to write a report tomorrow. Okay, writing a research report and the other topics. Hope you understood. Do you have any doubts in verbal report? Basically, a presentation कैसा देना वो है. How you are supposed to present your report. The report is what you get at the end of your research. Okay.